Trey seems to be well known for being considerate. Kater says that Trey is always spoiling new students, and Azul comments that Trey has an effortless consideration of others. We see him asking Sebek about himself, expressing concern for Lilia and being worried about Riddle being too cold at night when he himself is sick. Riddle says, "Even now, you worry about me? Really, Trey, you ought to think about yourself for once." He also asks Jamil and Najma about themselves during Firelit Sky and says that they ought to tell Lilia how much thought Malleus put into his souvenir. When Jamil is reluctant to accept an honor that is offered to him at the end of the event, Trey encourages him by pointing out that it would likely make his sister happy. During Spectral Soiree, Trey intentionally sends Sebek after a non-existent ghost in order to distract him from Rook, saying, "I just figured you wouldn't want people prying into your private life. I've noticed you tend to steer clear of that kind of stuff when we talk at club meetings. But I'm sorry if I read too much into it and overstepped." Rook thanks him for maintaining such a pleasant distance, saying that he is forever grateful for Trey's discretion. Trey compliments Azul on his glasses, saying that they look great on him and give off a mature vibe, and encourages Riddle not to work too hard, to which Riddle responds, "Trey always was a worrier." When Trey sends chocolate cake and apple pie to Ramshackle with Ace and Deuce for Book 5, Vil comments that Trey is the type of man one must truly watch himself around, the kind who spoils people rotten under the guise of knowing what's best. Vil's opinion on Trey's thoughtfulness comes up again during Culinary Crucible when Trey assures him that he has cut down on the fat and sugar content of his dish, with Vil saying, "You addressed my concern before I could even finish voicing it. You're too considerate by half. It's almost galling." Trey says he will take it as a compliment. When Ruggie wanders out of his own vignette and into Trey's in search of food, Colum having botched the meal he was supposed to judge, Trey offers him a second pizza that he made. Vil observes, "Trey, you really do spoil people rotten. It's a bad habit of yours, the way you try to stay on top of every eventuality." Vil asks if Trey also bails out Heart's Lobule students when they botch their cooking, and Trey admits that he does find himself covering for them a lot. Vil explains, "It's all well and good to look out for underclassmen, but you can't baby them. That can rob them of potential learning experiences. There's a balance to be struck." Trey relates a time when his parents once let him burn a batch of cookies, only looking on as he worked without interfering. Trey thanks Vil for his insight and says he will put it into practice. Trey is Ruggie's judge in a separate Culinary Crucible vignette, and he is very complimentary towards Ruggie's culinary efforts. When the chef ghost encourages Trey to take some of Ruggie's dish back to his dorm with him, as Ruggie intentionally prepared too much in order to keep the leftovers for himself, Trey deduces from Ruggie's expression alone that Ruggie would rather keep everything for himself, and declines the offer. He also provides Ruggie and other sports club members with warm drinks during setup for the VDC. It is possible that Trey doesn't really experience as much thoughtfulness as he practices. When he tries to explain the science behind fireworks to the Firelit Sky group, they ignore him in favor of playing with sparklers. Trey comments to Colum that no one likes feeling unappreciated, and Colum asks if Riddle is not appreciating him enough. Trey responds, "That was either really thick of you, or incredibly perceptive."